The scream that echoed through the Athenian marketplace wasn't from a criminal. It came from a child. And that single sound held a secret Athens spent centuries trying to bury. We picture classical Athens as a birthplace of reason, of democracy, philosophy, and stunning art. But this shining civilization had a dark, beating heart, a system of state-sanctioned exploitation so pervasive it funded very monuments we admire. This is not a tale of warriors or queens. This is the story of the thousands of nameless women whose suffering was the hidden currency of the Greek Golden Age. And the most unsettling part? The greatest thinkers of the time saw no contradiction. To understand this, we must go back to the 6th century BCE and the reforms of Solon. Hailed as a founder of Athenian liberty, Solon abolished debt slavery for citizens. But his laws drew a stark, unyielding line. Freedom was expanded inward for a privileged few. Outside that circle, people remained property. And the most brutally treated were women and girls forced into bonded servitude. Their bodies became a regulated commodity, a cornerstone of the economy. They entered this life through 3 doors: born into bondage, captured as spoils of war, or sold by families shattered by famine. Age was no shield. Records note girls as young as 7 being prepared. Their value was often highest before they even reached womanhood. Once purchased, they were processed in specialized facilities. Here they were inspected, graded, and sorted like merchandise. The most aesthetically pleasing were sent to elite gatherings. The rest were dispatched to establishments near the port or the slums. But every single one, without exception, received a permanent mark. A red-hot iron seared their skin with the initials of their owner. The pain was a lesson, the scar a message. You are not a person, you are a possession. Athenian law confirmed this in the coldest terms. These women were classified as andropoda, man-footed things. Killing one carried the same penalty as breaking a farmer's plow, a simple fine for damaging property. The concept of consent did not apply to them, as the law denied them any right to refusal. Their existence was defined by availability. And the state didn't just allow this, it profited from it. Brothels were licensed. Every transaction was taxed. Special officials conducted regular inspections, not for welfare, but to ensure the health and usability of the asset. If illness struck, they were removed. If pregnancy occurred, it was terminated, often with lethal methods. The marble of the Parthenon was paid for in flesh and fear. Tax records from the port of Piraeus alone are revealing. Over 200 licensed establishments employed nearly 8,000 enslaved women. This trade contributed up to 1/5 of the city-state's public revenue. So, the theaters where Sophocles premiered his plays, the schools where Socrates taught, all were subsidized by this silent suffering. But the system's true horror lay in how it woven itself into the fabric of daily life. The largest such establishments were strategically placed around the civic agora. A man could cast his vote for democracy and then, just steps away, purchase a human being. Prices were state-regulated tiers. The youngest and most trained cost a soldier's wages for days. The oldest and sickest were offered for the price of a cup of wine, or even for free, a final cruel extraction of value from a broken body. The law protected the system meticulously. Resistance was met with vicious punishment. An attempt to escape meant a facial branding. Striking a client, even in defense, could mean summary execution. Yet the law also protected the enslaved person as property. Injuring or killing them without compensating the owner was illegal. Their humanity was irrelevant. Their market value was everything. And where were the famous philosophers while this machinery turned? They walked past it. Socrates spoke of virtue in sunlit courtyards a short distance from slave markets. Plato's ideal republic relied on a servant class. Aristotle provided the darkest justification, arguing some people were slaves by nature, mere living tools. The intellectual revolution happened alongside and was built upon this profound dehumanization. Their freedom was a sculpture carved from the bones of the unfree. Most of these women did not live to see 25. Their bodies succumbed to violence, disease, and repeated trauma. In death, they were erased. No grave markers, no mourning rites. Most were dumped into the Barathon, a pit for criminals and refuse. Some were sold to medical schools for dissection, their bodies serving science even in death. But what of the children born into this nightmare? Daughters entered the system from birth, knowing no other life. Sons faced an uncertain fate, often abandoned. The cycle was perpetual, engineered for maximum profit and complete disposal. The hypocrisy was breathtaking. Athenian men guarded the social virtue of their wives and daughters with ferocious laws, yet the systematic coercion of enslaved women was not just accepted, it was considered necessary to protect that very virtue. Desire was safely redirected onto those deemed less than human. This duality peaked during the Great Dionysia, the festival celebrating theater and fertility. As audiences wept at tragedies about justice, sanctioned rituals in the city's shadows turned forced acts into performance. For days, the city celebrated art and reason atop a foundation of brutality. So, what are we to make of this legacy? The stunning art, the profound philosophy, the very idea of democracy, they are real, they shaped our world, but they were not born in a vacuum. They were financed by a hidden catastrophe. This story has been omitted because it forces an uncomfortable truth. Humanity's highest arts can coexist with its deepest cruelty. The capacity for beauty is intertwined with the capacity for horror. Athens wasn't destroyed by outsiders, it rotted from within, by a moral contradiction it could never resolve. Today, millions walk the Acropolis, marveling at the marble. Few ask what it cost. The victims have no names, no faces in our history books. Their silence is the loudest condemnation. If this journey into the shadows has unsettled you, if it has made you question the price of glory, then do this for the channel. Give this video a like. It tells the stories Shadows of History is committed to uncovering. And in the comments, tell me where you're watching from. Let me know you were here. Because remembering them is the first step towards a more honest history. And that history starts now.